Hi, my name is Patricia Ercolino, and I am the producer of Sojourners Along the Way. The month of February, people typically think about love, Valentine's Day, but we're going to take a different angle on it, and we're going to look at heart issues. Be loving to your heart. How can you help yourself to have a healthy heart? So during the month of February, we're going to look at some health issues, health information that will be very helpful for you. And I hope you will enjoy and learn many new things. Thank you for being with Sojourners Along the Way.
Heart disease is the #1 killer of both women and men in this country. This year, more than 1 million Americans will have a heart attack, and nearly 500,000 of them will die. But it doesn't have to be this way.
Before I had my heart attack, I never thought about having a heart attack. I didn't believe that I would have a heart attack. I felt like I was invincible, I guess.
So how could I have a heart attack? I wasn't fat, exercised, I did everything right. We were thin. I thought also that I was too young.
We need to change the way we think about heart attacks. New treatments can stop a heart attack in its tracks, saving lives and preventing disability. But these treatments work best when they're started early, ideally within an hour of when symptoms begin. The benefits of early treatment are dramatic. It can mean the difference between life and death. Unfortunately, only a small percentage of heart attack victims are treated within that first hour. That's because people delay in seeking treatment. Why? Well, the truth is that most people who are having a heart attack don't realize what's happening to them. They don't know the warning signs. Now, you may think that you know what the symptoms of a heart attack are, but in reality, they may not be what you expect. The Hollywood heart attack, the sudden, intense event where someone grabs his chest and falls over, is actually not that typical. Sometimes it can happen that way, and if you're with someone when it does, yes, by all means, call 911. Who wouldn't? But the fact is that most heart attacks start slowly, with only mild pain or discomfort. You need to be aware of the warning signs that indicate you may be having a heart attack.
I experienced some uncomfortable feelings up in my, around my throat, my chest. It caused me to labor to breathe, is what it did.
A lot of people say, like an elephant standing on your chest. I didn't have those type of pains.
I had no idea at the time what that feeling was or what was happening.
Some signs that you may be having a heart attack include chest discomfort, discomfort in the arms, back, neck, or even jaw, shortness of breath, breaking out in a cold sweat, feeling sick to your stomach, weakness, dizziness, or lightheadedness. If you experience these warning signs, you need to find out what's happening. Call 911 right away. Don't wait more than a few minutes, 5 minutes at the most. While that may sound extreme, research shows that getting to a hospital quickly is the best way to survive a heart attack. If you call 911, treatment can begin as soon as the ambulance gets to you. As most people who have had a heart attack can tell you, it's really not like the movies. Every story is unique.
Let's see what it is.
You're going to hide them? You're not going to let anybody play?
Bob Weltner was 60 years old and on vacation with his wife Jean when he experienced heart attack warning signs and overlooked them.
So I sat down and rested for a while, and it went away. I walked a few more blocks, and it started again, and it went away again. My wife got upset, quite naturally.
When he said it the third time, fear set in. I was like, oh my Lord. I said, what is it? Do you have any pain? He said, no. I said, do you have any numbness? He said, no. And I said, Bob, let me take you to the hospital. And he says, no, I'll be all right.
I'm the type that I never ran to the doctor just because I had a little pain. Something had to be wrong, and I didn't think anything was wrong. I didn't think anything was seriously wrong with myself at that time.
Patients often tell me that they delayed in calling 911 because they weren't sure what was going wrong, or they were afraid it was a false alarm, or they felt embarrassed about causing a fuss, or they didn't want to upset their families. But this is your life we're talking about. If you feel that something's wrong, you owe it to yourself and your family to get it checked out.
4 days later, Bob was at work when his symptoms returned, more intense this time. A colleague called 911, and the ambulance rushed him to the hospital.
I don't remember much of anything, and it's at this point in time they tell me that I went into complete cardiac arrest. And I was in that complete cardiac arrest for 20 minutes.
When the hospital called, they right on the phone told me, your husband's in emergency room in his hospital and he's having a heart attack.
My heart stopped, and in theory, I guess I was dead. But through the miracles of medical science, they managed to revive me and bring me back to life.
Let's talk about what's actually happening in our bodies when someone is having a heart attack. We all know that the heart is the muscle that's responsible for pumping blood to every part of our body. A heart attack occurs when the blood supply to the heart is cut off or reduced, oftentimes by a blood clot in one of the arteries that feeds the heart. What happens when we have a heart attack is that the heart muscle gets damaged from the lack of adequate blood supply. The longer it takes to treat a patient having a heart attack, the more severe the damage to the heart will be. And damage to the heart is permanent. The treatment for a heart attack has changed a lot over the years. 2 decades ago, there wasn't much we could do to stop a heart attack. Today, there are drugs called thrombolytics or clot busters that can quickly break up a clot in the heart's artery. There's also angioplasty, where a balloon is inserted into the artery and inflated to restore blood flow. These artery opening treatments need to be administered ideally within 1 hour of the beginning of heart attack symptoms. The sooner these treatments are given, the more heart muscle can be saved, and the better your chances of surviving and resuming a normal life.
Bonnie Brown and Joan Hamilton are sisters who were not aware of any family history of heart trouble. At age 44, Bonnie didn't recognize the warning signs when she had a heart attack.
It was a light, mild pain that made me notice something was there. And as soon as I noticed it, it went away. So then I said, okay, then, it's just indigestion. When she came in and I saw the color drain from her face, and she's going, I'm okay. I'm like, you're not okay. I'm going to call 911. We'll let them tell you you're okay. I said, she's making too much of this. Why is she calling the ambulance and just having indigestion? I'm going to take this Alka-Seltzer and it's going to go away.
Understanding the heart attack warning signs isn't only important for your own health. Very often, someone other than the person having the heart attack is the one who needs to take quick action. The patient may want to wait, but if you think your spouse or friend or coworker is experiencing heart attack symptoms, you can save a life by calling 911 and getting them to the hospital as quickly as possible.
Bonnie did indeed have a heart attack and was hospitalized for 2 weeks. Only days after being discharged, she and Joan were driving to visit a relative when Joan mentioned a mild pain.
It was in my left shoulder. And it was just in the shoulder. She mentioned, I still have this pain in my shoulder. I should go to the hospital. And I said, you should and you will. And I kept driving her straight to the hospital. And when we got in the emergency room, the doctor said I had a heart attack. And I'm going, no, the chances of that are like slim and none. She just had one. What are the chances of us both having it? I thought that a heart attack was for old men. I knew I was too young to have a heart attack.
The truth is that heart disease is the #1 cause of death among women, and the risk of having a heart attack increases with age, especially after menopause. So it's essential that women become more aware of their heart health.
When we go to parties, we don't go in with the dips and the fat. We take vegetables and fruit. That's what we eat. Instead of using ground beef, now we use ground turkeys. Instead of fried chicken, I miss it, but I eat baked or boiled now. So, and we discovered spices, squash, which I've never had squash, but I mean spaghetti squash. We're members of the Johns Hopkins Family Heart Program. When we go to our exercise class, each week they take our blood pressure and our weight. It's fun because now, due to our experience, our sisters and brothers are now in the same class with us. We go to exercise together as a family. We do a lot of things together and we're getting healthier.
Having a heart attack is a big wake-up call for most people. there's usually no problem convincing a heart attack survivor to change his or her lifestyle, to quit smoking, control their high blood pressure and cholesterol, control their weight, and get regular physical activity. Of course, it's better to take these steps now. They can prevent a heart attack from happening.
The type of exercise that I do now is I have a stationary bike that I ride for approximately 15 minutes. I have a course here in the community, which is approximately 2.5 to 3 miles, which I try to walk 3-4 times a week, and I just enjoy life.
Like so many people who experience heart attack symptoms, you might not be sure that you're having a heart attack, but you'll know something isn't right. And when that happens, the best policy, and I can't stress this enough, is when in doubt, check it out. Being prepared for a heart attack is a smart thing to do. Come up with an action plan in advance. Learn the heart attack warning signs. Talk to your family and friends about the importance of acting fast and calling 911 right away. And finally, talk to your doctor about your heart attack risk and how to lower it. Be prepared, act in time. It can save your life or the life of someone you love.
My doctor told me that if I have another heart attack, I may not make it through because my heart was damaged. I had no choice but to change everything in my life. Although I thought I was healthy then, I've got a much broader concept of health now, and I try to protect my heart.
I don't think he's ready to take any more chances. He knows how lucky he is to be here, and he can't be any more thankful.
If I can help someone else who hasn't yet had a heart attack recognize that they're having a heart attack, then I might help save that person's life. I feel very fortunate. I'm a very lucky person. I'm lucky to be here and happy to be here.
I have a lot of great people working with me, family support, so health-wise I will be just fine.
For more information, visit the NHLBI website at www.nhlbi.nih.gov.
It was this landmark study, published in 1953, that radically changed our view about the development of heart disease forever. A series of 300 autopsies performed on U.S. battle casualties of the Korean War. Average age, 22. 22 years old, but 77% of their hearts had gross evidence, meaning visible to the eye evidence of coronary atherosclerosis, hardening of their arteries. Some of them had vessels that were clogged off 90% or more. As an editorial in the Journal of the American Medical Association concluded, this widely cited publication dramatically showed that atherosclerotic changes appear in the coronary arteries years and decades before the age at which coronary heart disease becomes a clinically recognized problem, before symptoms arise. Follow-up studies on the hearts of thousands more soldiers over the subsequent years confirmed their results. How young does it go? Fatty streaks, the first stage of atherosclerosis, was found in the arteries of 100% of kids by age 10. What's accounting for this buildup of plaque even in childhood? In the 80s, we got our first clue, the now famous Bogalusa heart study, looking at autopsies of those dying between the ages of 3 years old to age 26, and the #1 risk factor was cholesterol. You could see the stepwise increase in the amount of their arteries covered in fatty streaks as the level of bad cholesterol in the blood increased. As powerful as this was only looking at 30 kids. So they decided to study 3,000. 3,000 accidental death victims, ages 15 through 34. After thousands of autopsies, they were able to produce a scoring system, able to predict advanced atherosclerotic lesions in the coronary arteries of young people. The higher your score, the higher the likelihood you have these lesions growing in your heart. So if you're in your teens, 20s, early 30s, and you smoke, your risk goes up a point. If you have high blood pressure at such a young age, that's 4 points. If you're an obese male, 6 points. But high cholesterol was the worst. If your non-HDL cholesterol, meaning your total cholesterol minus your good cholesterol, is above like 220, that's like 8 times worse than smoking. So let's say you're a young woman with relatively high cholesterol, but you don't smoke, you're not overweight, your blood pressure and blood sugars are fine. At your sweet 16, there's just a few % chance you already have an advanced atherosclerotic lesion in your heart. But if you don't improve your diet by your 30th birthday, there may be like a 1 in 5 chance you have some serious heart disease. And if you have really high cholesterol, it could be closer to 1 in 3. Bringing your cholesterol down to even just that of a lacto-ovo-vegetarian, and you're down to here. And if you exercise to boost your HDL, you can extrapolate down a little further. So what this shows us is that even in 15 to 19-year-olds, atherosclerosis has begun in a substantial number of individuals, and this observation suggests beginning primary prevention, at least by the late teenage years, to ameliorate every stage of atherosclerosis and to prevent a retard progression to more advanced lesions. You start kids out on a low saturated fat diet, and you may see a significant improvement in their arterial function by 11 years old. Exposure to high serum cholesterol, even in childhood, may accelerate the development of atherosclerosis. Consequently, the long-term prevention of atherosclerosis might be most effective when initiated early in life, as in 7 months of age. Atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, begins in childhood. Remember, by age 10, nearly all kids have fatty streaks, the first stage of the disease. Then, the plaques start forming in our 20s and get worse in our 30s, and then can start killing us off. In our hearts, it's a heart attack. In our brains, it's a stroke. In our extremities, it can mean gangrene. In our aorta, an aneurysm. If there is anyone watching this video that is older than 10 years of age, the choice likely isn't whether or not to eat healthy to prevent heart disease. It's whether or not you want to reverse the heart disease you already have. Ornish and Esselstyn proved you can reverse heart disease with a plant-based diet. But we don't have to wait until our first heart attack to reverse the clogging of our arteries. We can start reversing our heart disease right now. We can start reversing heart disease in our kids tonight.
Drozek. I'm a local physician. I'm trained in general surgery, but I'm transitioning into a new specialty of lifestyle medicine that deals with our healthy and unhealthy behaviors that have important influence on our health. I got involved in this because of my own illnesses. Got into my early 50s and I did what we tell our patients they should do. I went to my primary care physician, had an evaluation, found out I had prediabetes, my blood pressure was elevated, my cholesterol was up, I was overweight, and I already knew I had heartburn and was taking some medication for that. My physician saw me, suggested I eat better, exercise, and gave me some medicine. Gave me medicine for diabetes, which gave me some side effects of diarrhea. Gave me a statin called Crestor to bring my cholesterol down. It worked very well, but it gave me muscle cramps. I lost about 5 pounds on a Mediterranean diet, which I'd been told that was a healthy diet, and I thought, well, that's a good way to go. I went back and saw the doctor again and found out that the diabetes was actually progressing. And I was discouraged. I thought, well, okay, I'm just going to be heading toward diabetes, and probably by the time I'm 60, I'll be a full-blown diabetic. And my wife went to the first Appalachian Health Summit back in 2011, and she came home. It wasn't even on my radar screen. I wasn't really all that interested in it. She came home and said, you need to come tomorrow to the community session and hear the speakers because you don't have to have diabetes. And I said, well, you didn't go to medical school. I went to medical school. I know how diabetes progresses. She's a biology major and a pretty smart lady, so I went the next day. And two of the speakers were Dr. Esselstyn from Cleveland Clinic and Dr. Campbell from Cornell. We were featured in the documentary Forks Over Knives, which I highly recommend for people who haven't seen it and have an interest in this. And Dr. Esselstyn in particular from Cleveland Clinic was talking about the patients that he took into his initial program, 20 patients who had end-stage heart disease. They'd had the bypasses and the stents and nothing else could be done, and they were told, well, here's your medicine, go home, probably going to live a year or two and make the most of your life. So he took them into his class and put them on a plant-based whole food diet. 20 years later, 19 of them were well and healthy and very active and weren't heart cripples by any means. The one that died dropped out of the course early on. He also had the x-rays, the angiograms of their heart disease, where he was demonstrating that their blood vessels were opening up and curing their heart disease just with diet. I was skeptical. It's not something we were taught in medical school, so I was not ready to jump into this. I wanted to read on it. I wanted to be convinced myself, but I was curious. I was definitely intrigued by what they were saying. So then I went and I started looking at the literature that was out there, and the more I read, the more convinced I was that there was something to this. The Adventist Health Study, lots and lots of information from that was very, very powerful to help convince me. So my wife and I made the switch to a plant-based whole food diet, eliminated all the animal products, and in a very short time, I was cured of diabetes, my blood pressure came down, heartburn went away. I got off all those medications, lost about 30 pounds, and I feel great. And as I became convinced that this was powerful, a powerful medicine, I felt compelled to share this with my patients, people who were suffering from a lot of the same things I was suffering from, and were suffering the side effects of medications like I was. So I began teaching people about this. I began doing it through the CHIP class. My wife and I went and got training, and we started teaching people in the CHIP class and saw some great success. But yet I was still wanting to teach more people. There was a limiting factor because CHIP does cost some money. Not everybody can afford it. Not everybody's willing to pay that money up front because they're not convinced of the benefits. So under the encouragement and the assistance of administration at Doctors Hospital, we developed a similar program using free online materials, grouping it together in a series of 12 lessons. And we began our first class there. We now started our 5th class, and people are getting better. Not everybody, but it's pretty proportionate to how much people are willing to change. As they change their lifestyle, their diet, they move toward a plant-based whole food diet, they exercise more, they find that they can reverse a lot of the illnesses that are bothering them and get off of their medicines. And there's so much more I could say, but I'm not trying to promote my program because I don't make any money from what's online anyway. It's just good material that I want to share with people. www.thelifestylemedicineclinic, no spaces, .us. Help yourself to the material that's there. I have had people then come to me saying, well, I can't come to your program, that time of night or day that you're doing it doesn't work for me. Can't you see me individually? So I have started to see people individually in my clinical practice. I do charge for that because it is from my clinical day. So that's another opportunity for people who want to learn lifestyle medicine. We accept insurance for that, whatever your insurance pays, and you are responsible for any co-pays. I'm not trying to do a commercial. I just want people to get better. We are looking at other classes as well, which would be smaller group classes, and that's in the future. Still working on that. But I highly recommend the CHIP program. If anybody's interested in that, if you're an OU employee, you can go for free. Some other employers in town also subsidize the tuition, so check with your employer. If you can't afford that, look into one of our group classes. We'll be doing another class in the fall. It'll be open to the public and be free, so it's another option. And just contact me. I've got an email address on the website. Happy to help guide anybody into a healthier lifestyle.
I'm Joe Graves. I'm an associate pastor here at Central Avenue United Methodist Church, and one of our ministries is what we call Central Venue, and it's a community center where we hold a variety of events. People will come in and rent the space for purposes in the lines of education and arts and music. But today we're partnering with a number of Christian medical associations and hospitals, diabetes center, etc., to provide a health fair. We have tons of services being offered, everything from blood pressure to sugar, blood levels, to cholesterol, to classes on relaxation, to exercise. A number of chances to talk with health professionals, all for free, as it's just a way to serve our community. A lot of people come out to help and to make it possible, and we're really excited about that. As a church, we love to be able to partner with community organizations and to be able to just make a tangible difference in the world. And the health fair is just one of those ways in which we hope to be able to serve our neighbors.
Hi, my name is Beth Turner. I'm one of the doctoral interns at Counseling and Psychological Services at Ohio University. We're here at the health fair promoting information about our services. They can be provided to any student, undergrad or graduate, who's enrolled at Ohio University. And all services are initiated by coming in Monday through Friday, 9:45 to 3:15. We provide individual, couples, and group counseling. And we're at the health fair today, providing information about depression, anxiety, stress, how to cope with it, and identifying your feelings. There's a bunch of different exercises, including grounding exercises and different relaxation exercises that can help anybody wanting to come in and learn more.
I'm with the Athens Health Department, and we're here promoting our Water First for Thirst campaign, which encourages people to choose water first as opposed to juice or soda and even milk for young children. Water has a lot of added benefits that people aren't aware of, and soda contains things people don't really to consume, as well as juice. Although it is a better choice than soda, a lot of juice contains sugar, and high amounts of sugar are really bad for you. So to encourage people to drink more water, especially for children, we've infused our water with pineapple and ginger to kind of give it the similar juice flavor for kids, but instead of drinking juice, they're drinking water, so it kind of makes them more used to drinking water, and then they'll start asking for water as opposed to asking for anything like soda, juice, or milk. The added benefits of water, it gives you energy, it's good for your health, it beautifies your skin, and it provides you nutrients that you don't get anywhere else, as well as it has no calories, no added sugar, no sodium, or anything like that too. So we're getting this out there as a way to encourage people to pick water first. That's why it's called the Water First for Thirst campaign.
And she will catch it, and whatever number her right thumb lands on, she will answer the question. Okay. Ooh, what is a carbohydrate that supplies bulk in the diet but not energy? That would be insoluble fiber. I know that one. And I know some other things here too. There you go. I win! My name is Karen Bailey, and I'm here today at the health fair on Central Avenue at Central Venue here on town in Athens. And we are part of UMA Endocrine Diabetes Care Center, and I'm here to let people know that we take care of people with diabetes and people with pre-diabetes. We have providers, we have endocrinologists and nurse practitioners at our center, and also we have diabetes educators at our center. And our program includes not only clinic visits, outpatient clinic visits for people with diabetes, but also we have classes. We have free diabetes management classes open to the public, and in our classes, they are free of charge. We offer dividers with information that we pass out at each of the classes. So lots of good materials on what is diabetes, what is the dietary recommendations for people with diabetes, what are the exercise recommendations, what kind of chronic complications occur with diabetes, and what are the resources in the community for people with diabetes for exercise and eating healthy. We also give exercise bands as part of the program, and to encourage walking, we give pedometers, which measure your steps. So those are all part of our diabetes classes. We'd like the community to know. So if you're interested, our number is 740-566-4877.
When someone has a heart attack, they need to receive medical attention as soon as possible. How can you tell if you are experiencing a heart attack, and how should you respond?
It can sometimes be hard to differentiate between the symptoms of a heart attack and more common occurrences like chest pain or severe heartburn. Fortunately, there are some simple ways to help to tell the difference. While all three conditions are characterized by intense pain in and around the chest, there are several distinctive symptoms associated with a heart attack. Often, people suffering from a heart attack describe the pain they feel as radiating outward and leading to intense pain in the back, throat, or jaw. There can also be pain running down the left arm. Many heart attack sufferers also feel weakness and a distinct shortness of breath because the heart is no longer effectively circulating blood. Nausea, vomiting, a feeling of dizziness, and profuse sweating are also common symptoms of a heart attack. All of these symptoms can be better understood in the context of what happens during a heart attack. The heart itself is a muscle, and its job is to circulate blood throughout the body. Oxygen-rich blood comes into the heart through three passages, known as the coronary arteries. Heart attacks occur when the fatty deposits or plaque rupture and cause a clot to form in the artery, blocking the flow of blood into the heart. Without this oxygen-rich blood, the heart muscle begins to die, which is the source of the pain during a heart attack. Given this, it is not surprising that one of the other common symptoms of heart attack is a rapid or irregular heartbeat. The right response to a heart attack is simple. First, call 911 immediately and ask for emergency help. Second, while you are waiting for the ambulance to arrive, take one regular strength aspirin tablet. This will prevent blood clotting that can worsen a heart attack. Being able to quickly recognize a heart attack will help you to respond fast, and the sooner you get proper treatment, the better your chances are of avoiding permanent damage to the heart. Remember, heart disease is both complex and serious, and you should always consult a physician if you have any concerns.
I'm a doctoral student, an experimental health psychology student here at Ohio University. I'm going to be doing my thesis project on people who have chronic pain. I'll be looking at people who go through the Complete Health Improvement Program. This is a program that encourages a plant-based diet, moderate exercise, social support, and stress reduction. I'm going to be looking at those people and comparing them to people who seek usual biomedical approaches like medications and things like that for their pain. I'm going to be seeing that the effect that this program can have on telomere length and telomerase activity. Telomeres are the caps on your chromosomes. They protect your DNA from damage. They naturally shorten as you age, and once they get too short, it results in cell death, but that's totally natural. So if you have any kind of chronic condition, these telomeres shorten faster than they would if you didn't have a chronic condition. So I'll be looking at them to see if we can reverse this shortening and increase telomerase activity. Telomerase is an enzyme that helps to build back up these telomeres. So we're going to see if the Complete Health Improvement Program can turn around this excessive aging that's happening. LHA, Live Healthy Appalachia, which you can see here, this is one of their t-shirts. They are who has the facilitators in town for the Complete Health Improvement Program. It's an international program that is widely recognized, but here in Athens, Live Healthy Appalachia puts it on. You can see here their motto, Live Well, and on the back, Live Healthy Appalachia. Thanks.
In public health school, we learned that there are 3 levels of preventive medicine. Primary prevention would be like trying to prevent someone at risk for heart disease from getting their first heart attack. Secondary prevention is when you already have the disease and are like trying to prevent your second heart attack. And tertiary prevention is like cardiac rehab, where we're just trying to reduce the complication rate. A 4th level was suggested in 2000, quaternary prevention, trying to reduce the damage from all the drugs and surgery from the first 3 levels. But people seem to forget about this 5th concept, introduced by the World Health Organization back in 1978, termed primordial prevention. But it is now being embraced by the American Heart Association's 2020 Strategic Impact Goals. Primordial prevention was conceived as a strategy to prevent whole societies from experiencing epidemics of the risk factors. The corresponding strategy at the individual level is to prevent risk factor development. Instead of trying to prevent someone with high cholesterol from getting a heart attack, why not prevent them from getting high cholesterol in the first place? So, the American Heart Association came up with the Simple 7. 7 simple health behaviors or factors: not smoking, not being overweight, being quote-unquote very active, defined as at least like walking 22 minutes a day, a few fruits and vegetables, below average cholesterol, normal blood pressure, and normal blood sugars. Their goal was to reduce heart disease deaths by 20% by 2020. Why so modest an aim? An improvement of 25% was deemed unrealistic. 15% was considered insufficient, so they decided on 20%. But if 90% of risk can be thrown out the window by simply engaging in simple lifestyle modifications, why is a 25% drop in death considered so unrealistic? To understand, one must realize just how bad our diets have gotten. The most common reason patients give for not complying with a cholesterol-lowering diet is the presumption that they're already eating healthy and so don't need to change. But if you look at the status of cardiovascular health in U.S. adults, only about 1% have a bare minimum of healthy eating behaviors, such as 5-a-day fruits and veggies, eating beans, whole grains, drinking less than 3 cans of soda a week. What percentage of Americans hit all 7 of the Simple 7? 14,000 men and women were surveyed, and most had 2 or 3, but hardly any had all 7 simple health components. Just how low a prevalence was having 7 out of 7? Only about 1 out of 2,000 Americans had all 7 factors intact. And the one they were missing the most? Diet. That should give us pause. Unfortunately, unhealthy behaviors extend into the medical profession. Just like smoking doctors are less likely to tell their patients to stop smoking, and couch potato docs are less likely to push exercise, or things like more fruits and vegetables, doctors need to role model healthy behavior. This greatly enhances our credibility and effectiveness. Gone are the days of traditional authority when the fat physician, dropping cigarette ash down his gravy-stained vest, could credibly prescribe a change in behavior.
oil. Here we have couscous salad with mushrooms and onions and olive oil. This is a vegan, gluten-free brownie made of black beans. You can find this recipe on the minimalistbaker.com. This is chickpea salad. There is 1 can of raw chickpeas drained, 2 Roma tomatoes chopped, 1 bell pepper chopped, 1/4 red onion chopped, 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 4 teaspoons of lemon juice, and 2 teaspoons of cilantro. This is oatmeal. It has cinnamon and raisins in it. And then our last item is brown rice with black beans and tomatoes.
Hi, I'm Jill Garland. I'm the Athens and Perry County WIC Director. I work for Hopewell Health Center, and we're going to check our hemoglobin today, this lady here, on this machine. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put this machine on your middle finger of your non-dominant hand. You're going to want to stay still and talk very little. The test takes about 1 minute. This machine is using a sensor that picks up metal, and it's checking for iron in her blood flow, which is going to give a hemoglobin reading. For a woman, ideal hemoglobin runs around 12 to 15. The hemoglobin is checking the iron that's in the blood, and iron is part of red blood cells, and it transfers oxygen throughout the body. And this right here is telling us low confidence level because your hands are a little cold, which is common for women and very common in the winter. So if you want to, you can warm up your hands and we'll try it again. Okay.
It's projected that 1 out of every 4 people in the United States will die from it. And more younger people are being diagnosed every day. We find out more in today's Health Matters. Age is only a number. That's how the old saying goes, and when it comes to heart disease, that's a fact.
You know, this past month saw individual 27 with cardiovascular pain and blockage, and we see it in 90-year-olds.
As a cardiologist, Dr. Edward Palank warns heart disease can strike anyone at any stage of life, no matter how active they are.
Just because I'm 40 and I'm playing tennis and I'm active doesn't mean I can't have a cardiovascular problem.
While heart disease is often thought of as an older person's problem, Dr. Palank says young people need to be especially on guard.
There's a lot of denial. Not going to happen to me. People are still smoking. You know, we're seeing the incidence in women of a higher incidence of heart disease in women. And we also know there's a higher incidence over the past 20 years of women smoking, starting younger. Longer periods of time.
Smoking is one of the leading causes of heart disease, followed by obesity, high blood pressure, and diabetes. He warns everyone, especially younger adults, to take a long, hard look at their lifestyle habits.
You know, they say, well, you know, I know I need to lose weight, but they don't. I know I need to walk, but they don't. So intellectually, they understand, they know what to do, but then they don't do it.
Since heart disease is also genetic, a one-on-one discussion with your primary care physician is also recommended.
Yeah, and if you have questions, that's what your physician's for.
Stress can also play a significant role in heart disease. Your doctor can recommend strategies to reduce your stress. Reporting for Lee Memorial Health System, I'm John Bafar.
Science Central.
The patient in this operating room has a disorder that's treated with a seemingly extreme procedure, a planned mini heart attack. And thanks to these rare patients, doctors at Massachusetts General Hospital discovered a new way to rapidly detect spontaneous heart attacks in the rest of us.
This is most important because all of our treatments for heart injury work best very early after the injury has started.
Robert Gersten and his colleagues studied the blood of patients who require controlled heart attacks.
In this unique situation, patients actually have too much heart muscle. We perform a planned heart attack to minimize the excess heart muscle, and only in this unique scenario after the heart attack do the patients actually improve.
Heart attacks change levels of chemicals in the blood, but the changes doctors knew about take hours to happen. Gersten's team took blood samples before, during, and after the planned heart attacks and compared levels of hundreds of different chemicals.
Within 10 minutes of a heart attack, we found approximately 10 new changes in the blood that had previously never been described.
As they wrote in the Journal of Clinical Investigation, the team then checked to see if heart attack patients coming into the emergency room would show the same chemical signature.
And indeed, these changes that we saw in the planned heart attack were also seen in patients having spontaneous heart attacks as well.
Gersten hopes in a few years this early detection will lead to widespread treatment of heart attacks, not in hours, but in minutes. Brad Cloza, Science Central News.
February is the time that we celebrate love, Valentine's Day. And we want to focus on health issues, but since it is February, we're going to focus also on love. And this is a prose poem. What is L-O-V-E? 5 W's. What is love? How does one express love? When do we say love? Why is there love? Where did love originate? Questions. A man says, I love you. What does he mean? A woman says, I love you. What does she mean? For singles. Does love to him mean sex? Does love to her mean a special closeness, non-sexual intimacy? What do married couples mean when they say the word love? Conceptualize. Is it possible to fall in love? Can one fall out of love? Who said falling? Doesn't that sound like a setup for getting hurt? Why not going, becoming, getting, to be, being? Does it have to be falling? What? Oh, the pain when one loves another, but it is not reciprocated. English uses love to express many ideas. Have you heard, I love, my blouse, sweatshirt, jewelry, house, job, book, swimming, music, TV, I love you. Any others? Oh yes, a myriad. Is it really love? Greek has a few words to express types of love. Philia, affectionate regard, friendship, usually between equals, brotherly love. Philadelphia takes its name from this form. Eros, mostly of the sexual passion. Storge, love, affection, and especially of parents and children. And agape, the love of God for humans and of humans for God. Love was not meant to keep to oneself. Love was meant to be given, shared. Love that is shared multiplies, grows. Sounds like a paradox, but it is true. Love is patient, kind, does not envy, does not boast, is not proud, does not dishonor others, is not self-seeking, is not easily angered, keeps no record of wrongs, doesn't delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth, always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. The greatest love story of all, the greatest love letter of all, the Bible and John 3:16. For God so loved the world that God gave us Jesus, that none should perish, but all may have eternal life. So in this month of February, as we're thinking of flowers, hearts, and love, let's share some love. And may it be the pure, unconditional love that comes from God, because God is love.